So today we're looking at layering patterns within the pattern fill feature on Cricut Design Space. Don't forget to give me a like, follow my YouTube channel and hit that bell for further notifications of my upcoming videos. So we're going to start off by selecting a triangle from the Shapes menu on the left-hand toolbar. I've now gone up to the top toolbar and in the size box I've clicked on the unlock padlock so that I can use the drag handles to change the shape of the triangle disproportionately, and then I'm going to duplicate the triangle and move one to one side. Then on the left hand toolbar I'm clicking on images and I'm going to go ahead and search for a skull image. This one looks like it'll be suitable for what I want. I wanted a fairly basic shape. So I'm going to go ahead and size that down smaller because I want to use this as a sort of a repeat pattern across my triangle. Once I've got the right size, I'm then going to duplicate it several times and then I'm going to individually position them over the top of my first triangle. I can do this by clicking and dragging each skull individually. Once I've got them roughly where I want them, if I click on each one individually and go to one of the corner squares, you'll see a curved arrow appear. You can then use that to sort of tilt and rotate the designs to your required position. So I think I'm quite happy with that. So what I'm going to do now is come across to the right hand layers bar and I'm going to hide the triangle that is sat behind the skulls. Then I'm going to click and drag over the skulls and I'm going to weld them so that they're treated as one entire shape. I can then go back to the layers panel and unhide my original triangle, which will appear back behind my skulls. If I then click and drag over both of those, I can then go to the slice button, click slice, and then you'll see that as I move away the excess and my original skulls and the layer from there, we've then got a panel that has got this shape actually cut out. I could discard the rest of those cut out bits because I don't want those. I'm going to move my second triangle back onto the page. I'm going to highlight my skull design, pop up to the operations box and select print then cut. And I can click on the coloured square, select pattern, and then I can choose a relevant pattern from the drop down box. And I'm going to repeat the process on the second triangle, but select a different pattern. I can then move the triangles together, one under the other, and create a layered pattern. I'm going to click and highlight over both of them, hop up to the align button, click center so that they're perfectly aligned. Once I've done that, I can then click the flatten button to make it into a print and cut file. So I thought we'd go one step further with this design. I thought this would look really cool as some Halloween bunting. So we're going to look at changing the image on the right to the image on the left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my image library and I'm going to search for scalloped triangle bunting. This is going to bring a few results up, so I'm just going to come down. This is the one I'm using today. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to add that to the canvas. So here we've got our the design that we want to use. It's actually, if you look over in the layers panel on the right hand side, there's actually two different layers to this. What I actually want is this outer scalloped edge. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the green layer. And I'm going to delete that from our design because I don't want that one. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to change the color of this now. So I want it to be this orange that you can see in the completed design. So I'm going to go up to the operations box here, and I'm going to click on the colored square, and that's going to bring a drop down box of colors that you can choose from. And as you can see, it's listing those that are already being used in this design. So I'm going to click on that so I know it's the exact right color. Now what I want to do is I want to bring this down to size to sit behind my already formed design. So I'm just going to hover that over there, and I'm going to go up to this arrange button in the top taskbar. I'm going to click on that, and I want to send this to the back. You've got sort of two options here. If I did send backward there, if there was more than one layer, it would only send it down one layer. But as I know I want it to go right to the back, I'm going to click send to the back. Now what I'm going to do is just come and bring that up there. So I'm just going to move that up just a little bit. I think I might want this scalloped area just a little bit bigger. I'm going to use the drag handle, so when you click onto that particular design you can then use the drag handles to make it bigger. You'll also see that the particular design that we're actually changing is greyed out in the right hand toolbar. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to align that. So I'm going to align the tops. You can sort of see that this isn't quite aligned to there, so I'm going to align the tops by clicking and dragging with my mouse over the selection. And I'm going to come up to align. I'm going to go align to the top. So that's moved those up there. You can see that, but it's not actually centered properly. So I'm going to come back and click and drag over both of those, and I come up to align again. And this time I'm going to do center horizontally, and you'll see that move over, and now that's appeared. It's all nicely lined up. So now we've got our design set up like this. In order to be able to print the design, I would come across and I will highlight both of the areas by clicking and dragging over them, and then I make it a flat printable item which is going to have a cut edge around the outside. But in this instance what I actually want to do is I want to cut two circles in the bunting. You can sort of see them here, so that I can actually thread some ribbon on it. So before I go ahead and flatten that for printing, I'm going to just highlight the orange banner piece, and I'm going to duplicate it. And you can see from this duplicated file that it actually already has two holes in it. But if I just go ahead and flatten this design to center print and cut, it's going to take those holes away and it won't cut them. So I need to add them back onto the design as a cut file. So the easiest way to do that is if we come onto the contour button here, we can see that this cut file at the moment has three shapes. It's got the outer scallop shape and the two circle shapes. So if I click on that outer shape there and then we close the box down, it's actually left us with these two holes that were in the original design, and you can see they're greyed out here on the sidebar, and that's as a basic cut. You can sort of see from our main image that the scalloped triangle is going to print then cut, and we want these to stay as a cut file. So before I pop those onto this design, I just need to make sure that these two elements are flattened so that they become a print and cut file. And then you can see that at the top there, that's a print and cut file. And then I want to take this here, which is a cut file, and I'm going to place them up here. You'll see that they disappear. That's because they've just sat under the layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the top bar there, the arrange bar, and I'm going to bring them to the front. And there you go, you can see them there. So I need to make sure that they are aligned. So I'm going to go up to the align button and choose center horizontally, and they'll just sort of shift over. Now I don't want to go and flatten this again, because that will then flatten this hole into the print design and it won't cut it. But in order for those holes to stay attached to that design, I need to click and drag over the whole lot again, and I need to click the attach button. And then we can then go across and make it. And you'll see there that on our box, we've actually got the holes there already. It is probably going to print them in orange. I'm not entirely sure. We'll have a look. And there we've got our design ready to print, and then it's going to cut afterwards. And you can sort of see it's also got basic cut on there. That's actually these circles that it's going to cut out of our bunting. I'm going to go ahead and click continue and send to printer. I'm going to keep add bleed checked on there, so that when the printer cuts around these scalloped edges here, we don't get any white edges. And I'm also going to click on system dialog, and then we're going to go ahead and print. And what you'll find is that the printer system dialog box will come up here. You can see there it's got my printer highlighted, so I can then come on to my preferences, and that's where I can change the material that I'm printing on, the quality of the print. So it just means you can customize it more rather than just using Cricut's directions. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually choose best for this particular print quality. Once your design is printed, you can go ahead and select the material that you wish to use. I'm going to use heavy cardstock. I've actually put a medium weight cardstock through my printer, but I just know that from regularly using my machine, that's what will cut through this nicely. And I'm going to give it more. I'm going to check that I've got the fine point blade in my machine, and then I'm going to upload my mat. And then I'm going to press go. And here's our printed image, and you can see that where the holes are going to cut, it didn't actually print them in orange because it has only read it as a cut file. So I've popped it on my mat now, and I'm going to pop it into my machine and then tell my machine that I want to go ahead and cut. So that's all done now. We can go ahead and peel it off the mat. You'll see that where it's cut the scallop outside edge, we've got a bit of overbleed, so it's cut nicely and we've got no white edges on our design. And as I peel the main design off, you'll see that it has cut the holes. So now I can use it as some bunting. I hope you found this tutorial interesting. Please do give me a like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to hit that bell for further notifications of my upcoming videos.